Well, in this class we'll be getting 15, yes, you heard that right, we'll be learning 15 beginner guitar chords. So basically, as beginners, we struggle to find different things to play because at the very first level we'll not actually be playing something very well. Because at the very primal and the very first level, when we're learning an instrument, a beautiful instrument like the guitar for instance, we're not going to be playing things from the day one very beautifully, right? So in that context, I thought of why not make a class where I'll be giving 15 different beautiful beginner friendly guitar chords for all of those beginner guitar buddies out there. So yes, you thought of that and I'm here. Basically in this entire class, I'll be giving you 15 different beginner guitar chords. Now, on the context of who can take this class, it is basically all of the beginner guitar players who are just picking up the guitar and are wanting to learn some chords. Well, you're at the right place. This class is designed for you as well if you're picking up the guitar and wanting to learn different chords and explore simple melodies out there. And also if you're an advanced beginner player who have been playing for a while and still want to know some different chords and experiment with different melodies, still you can opt for in this class. So basically beginner guitar players and advanced beginner guitar players can take this class, and it's designed for them so that they can expand their horizons. So what will you learn in this class? You will learn 15 beautiful and easy to play beginner guitar chords. That's as simple as it gets, in which you have a PDF of all of the chords, which contains all of the chord diagrams we did in this entire class, which you can download, exactly, which will act as an extra resource which you can come back to and watch if you forget that which chord has which shape, how do you hold them, and a lot more. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time and let's get into the lesson first and let's see what our 15 chords are. Well, we are zoomed in here and let's see what's our first beginner guitar chord right here. And this is a really simple chord. This chord is called as a G major chord. So as always, let's first hear and look at how it looks and sounds, right? So here's how sweet this G major chord sounds. Right, so let's break this first chord down and let's see what's happening. As you can see on the screen as well, there's a chord diagram for this one. So basically, first and foremost, all of my 4 fingers, that's the index, middle, the ring, and the pinky finger, are used to play this first chord, which is the G major, right? So as you can see on the diagram and as well as on the fretboard right here, it is my second finger or my middle finger is on the 3rd fret of the 6th or the E string, right? After that, my index or the first finger is on the 2nd fret of the A or the 5th string or just below the 6th string, right? So from there we go straight to the 3rd finger, which will be settling on 3rd fret of the B string or the 2nd string over here. Exactly, and lastly our pinky or the little finger will be on the same 3rd fret, but this time it's on the 1st or the high E string. So we get 3rd on the 6th string, 2nd fret on the A or the 5th string, 3rd fret on the 2nd or the B string, and once again the 3rd fret on the high E string or the 1st string. And it looks something like this, right? So basically these middle 2 strings are ringing open, the D and the G. Nothing is being held over here on the fretboard. It's ringing open. Now here's the thing. If you go and search anywhere or ask anyone or just go on to Google and just type a G major chord, the diagram you'll be getting over there will look something like this, which will have 3 dots on the entire chord diagram, which will represent 3 fingers. So basically this is a 3-finger chord and it will kind of sound like this if I play that to the original version, right? Now which I gave you right now sounds like this. So I'm playing these 2 G major chords part by part. Your job is to listen very carefully and let's figure out together what's the difference over here. So first is second, exactly, this B string is not shown in the original G major chord, right? So with that, the problem over there is this B string rings out open, which doesn't actually, enhance the monophonic appeal of this G major chord. It kind of sounds like it's kind of incomplete, right? Like if you listen to it very closely, this kind of hits the ear at the very spot because it's not getting this 3rd fret note, it's just ringing out open. But what I'm giving you is this, I'm holding the third fret on both of the strings. Of course, the third fret of the high E string is always there, but I'm just adding my third finger on this third fret of the B, other than making it ring out, right? So now this chord sounds like, you know, it's a full G major chord. Beautiful. That's your first chord, which is the G major chord, and it looks and sounds once again like this. Right, so let's now take a look at our second chord here, and this one is called a C major chord, and here's how it looks and sounds. Well, that sounds really pretty. As always, let's break this chord down and let's see how we're going to be playing it, right? So this time my third finger is on the third fret of the fifth or the A string, right? After that, my second finger or the middle finger is on the second fret of the D or the fourth string. So third fret on the fifth string, my third finger, second fret of the D or the fourth string is my second finger. Then we're going to be skipping this G string, nothing is held over here. We go straight to the B or the second string right here, and with our index or the first finger we hold the first fret, and here we have a C major chord. Yes, that's a very simple and very beautiful sounding chord. Once again, my third finger or the ring finger is on the third fret of the A or the fifth string. My second or the middle finger is on the second fret of the D or the fourth string. We skip the G string, we go to the B straight or the second. My index or the first finger is on the first fret on the B or the second string. So two strings are ringing out open, the G and the high E, right? And now on the right hand side, we're going to be playing this chord from the fifth string, not the sixth. Now you may ask, why shall we play it from the fifth string and not the sixth? That's because the sound of the sixth string will actually not enhance the sound of the C major chord we're trying to play, and therefore if we include this sixth string or the sound of this low E string or the sixth string into the C major chord, it will sound like we're trying to intervene the chord. So here's how it sounds like if I include the sixth string. Exactly, it kind of sounds out of context. But instead, if you play it from the fifth string, it sounds like a complete C major chord. Beautiful. There you go, you have your second chord right there, which is the C major. Let's take a look at our third chord and let's see what more surprises we have. Right, so here's our third very simple chord, and this one's called a D major chord, and here's how it looks and sounds. Gorgeous. Let's again break down this chord. So my index finger or my first finger is on the second fret of the G string. Moving on straight to the ring finger, it's on the third fret of the B string. And once again, lastly, my middle finger is on the second fret of the high E or the first string. So once more, second fret of the G string with my index finger, third fret of the B string with my ring finger. Lastly, my middle finger or my second finger is on the second fret of the high E string or the first string. Generally, the D major chord is meant to be played from the fourth or the D string right here, because the A and the E string doesn't really again complement the sound of the chord we are trying to play, right? So basically, if I play it from the fourth or the D string here, it will sound something like this. It kind of has a triangle kind of a shape. It basically 3 notes. So once again, it sounds something like this if I play it from the fourth or the D string. But once in a while, you can actually add the fifth string because it doesn't sound that bad, you know. Well, you completed your third chord. Great. Let's move on to our fourth one and let's see what we have over there. Right, so here's our chord number 4. Let's see what our simple beginner chord number 4 is. And this one is called an E major chord, right? E for elephant. And here's how it looks and sounds. Fantastic. You want to hear it again? I know. Here we go again. Well, let's see what's going on over here. So, my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the A or the 5th string. Great. After that, my ring finger or my 3rd finger is again on the 2nd fret, but this time it's on the D or the 4th string, a string below that. Lastly, again this is a 3-note chord. So lastly, my index finger is on the 1st fret of the G string. And that makes a E major chord. 3 notes. So once again, my middle and my ring finger are on the 2nd frets of both the 5th or the A string and the D or the 4th string. Right? And then my index goes on to the 1st fret of the G string. Yes, all the other strings are ringing out open. Of course, we'll include the 6th string this time. Then the B and the E string are ringing out open. And here's how warm and welcoming this chord sounds. Yes, again on the right hand side, we are playing all of the strings. No exemption this time. Well, you got your 4th chord. You want to know what your 5th chord is? Well, here's your 5th chord. It's really simple. Just take off your index finger off of the E major chord. What does it become? Yes, it's an E minor chord. Let's listen to what the sound difference actually is. Whoa, that sounds dark, huh? So what just happened over here? It's really simple. So you just held your E major chord. You just took off your index finger off of the 1st fret of the G or the 3rd string. Everything else remains the same. So this time it's a 2-note chord. So I'm holding the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and with my ring finger I'm holding the 2nd fret of the D string as well. Everything else remains exactly the same. It's just that we have just lifted off our 1st finger right here. Well, you got your 4th and 5th chords together. Well, fantastic. Here's our 6th beginner guitar chord, and this one is very, very joyful, and this is an A major chord, and here's how it looks and sounds. Come on now, isn't that very, very joyful? It's like you got a birthday present or something of that sort. Anyway, let's break this chord down and let's see what's happening over here. So basically in this chord, the A major chord, these 3 fingers are used. My middle finger, my ring and the pinky. There's no usage of the thumb anyway, or the 1st finger over here, right? So my 2nd finger is on the 2nd fret of the D string or the 4th string. Again, my ring finger is also on the 2nd fret of the G string this time, a string below the D. And you guessed it right, also my pinky or the 4th or the little finger is on the 2nd fret of the B string this time as well. So everything is on the 2nd fret but on different strings. So it's like 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger on all of the 2nd frets of the D, G and the B string. And on the right hand side of things, we're going to be playing this chord from the 5th string, and this is an A major chord. The strings which are ringing out open are the high E string, the A, and of course we're not going to be including this 6th string or the low E string right here. And here's our A major chord. So we are playing from the 5th or the A string right here. Absolutely beautiful. right? So here's our chord number 7. The previous one we played was an A major, right? Exactly. This 7th chord we're going to be playing now is an A minor, and by now you may have got a hint like, okay, there must be a really small difference between the A major and the A minor. And yes, you are right. So basically this is how an A minor chord looks and sounds. Let's hear it and look at it first. Fantastic. It sounds kind of like a sorrow chord. Let's see and break this chord down, and let's see how we can play this effortlessly, right? So what am I doing over here? The previous one we played an A major, and absolutely there is no very difference between the A major and the A minor chord. So basically, again, my middle finger and my ring finger are on the 4th and the 3rd string, or the D or the G strings respectively. So my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the D or the 4th string. My 3rd finger is on the 2nd fret of the G or the 3rd string. Very parallel. After that, my index finger goes on to the 1st fret of the B or the 2nd string. Exactly, and that's only the difference, right? So the previous chord, the A major, my pinky or the 4th finger was on the 2nd fret of the B string. It has just gone this time in the A minor chord to the 1st fret. And that's all the difference, right? And we're going to be playing from the 5th string right here, from the A string. And yes, the strings which are ringing out open over here is the A and the high E string. These two are only ringing out open, everything else is just held over here, and this E string, we're not going to be including that, right? Absolutely fantastic. Well, we have reached chord number 8 here. Here's our 8th chord. Well, this chord can be a little bit intimidating at the very first, but of course, if you practice, you'll just play this chord effortlessly in no time, right? This chord is called as an F major chord, and here's how it looks and sounds. Do you want to hear it again? Well, I know that. Here we go. Let's see what's going on over here. Okay, my 3rd or my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the D or the 4th string. My 2nd or the middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the G string or the 3rd string. And now this is where the trick comes. My index finger, basically I'm using this part, this front part. This is called the technique of barring. So basically you just hold one or more strings with the front part of your finger, right? I'm holding 2 strings. So we're going to be using this technique now, because the 1st and the 2nd strings over here are going to be held and played on to the 1st fret, which I'm going to be doing with my index finger. It's basically barring these 2 strings. The 1st frets are on the B and the E string, the 2nd and the 1st together. So 3rd fret on the D string with my 3rd finger, 2nd fret of the G string with my 2nd finger, and the 1st frets on the B and the E string with my index finger. It's barring. And there we have an F major chord. On the right hand side, we're going to be playing this chord from the A string. We're not going to include the 6th string right here, okay? From the A string right here. And here's again how beautiful it sounds. So here's the thing you may face in the first, that is you can't be actually getting a good sound while you're barring, right? You can have all of these buzzes going on, and when you're going to be approaching this chord, you can play it like, well, no worries, relax, like you can see how relaxed I am right here, right? Shake your hand, come back at it again, and by this process you get to the chord very easily. Well, you have your 8th chord over there, and that was the F major chord. Well, let's move on to our next chord. You want to know what's the next chord? Exactly. It's called an F major 7, and here's how heavenly this one sounds. I know you want to hear it again, and here's how it sounds once more. Well, let's see what's happening. It's a really simple chord, right? Exactly. It kind of looks similar to the F major chord we just did a couple of seconds ago. So this chord is basically my ring on the third finger is on the third fret of the D string. Again, my middle or my second finger is on the second fret of the G or the third string. Once again, this time we are not going to be barring, so we're going to be lifting up that bar and we are just going to be holding the first fret of the B string with our index. And yes, you got it right, the E string will ring out open. So you're basically free from barring, right? And here's how heavenly this chord sounds. Again, on the right hand side, this chord is generally played from the fourth string on the D string. And you may include the fifth string sometimes, depends on what kind of sound you want, right? Once again, my third finger is on the third fret of the D or the fourth string. My middle finger is on the second fret of third or the G string. My first or the index finger is on the first fret of the B string. And the high E string on the first string is ringing out open. And as well as the A. Right? So once again, here's how good it sounds. Here's our 10th chord, and this one is called a D minor chord. And here's how it looks and sounds. Well, that kind of sounds sad. You want to hear it again? Let's hear it once more. Well, apart from the sadness, let's break this chord down and let's see how we can play this, right? It's a really simple chord. So my middle or my second finger is on the second fret of the G or the third string. Right? After that, my third or the ring finger is on the third fret of the second string or the B string. Exactly. And this time my index is on the first fret of the high E or the first string. So second fret of the G string with my second finger, third fret with my third finger on the B or the second string, and lastly my index finger or my first finger is on the first fret of the high E or the first string. And we have a D minor chord. Basically we're going to be playing this chord from the fourth string or the D string right here. And if you want, depending on the kind of sound you want, you can actually go ahead and actually include this fifth or the A string. Still, it will sound really gorgeous and sad as well, right? So once again, here's how it looks and sounds. So basically there are a lot of strings ringing open out here. The A and the D strings are respectively ringing out, all the other are held, and this E string is not included right in this chord, right? So once again, here's how it sounds. Absolutely sad, well, gorgeous as well. Let's move on to our 11th chord right here. Let's see what's our next surprise. Right, now let's take a look at what our 11th chord sounds and looks like. So this chord is basically called as a B major chord, and here's how it looks and sounds. Woo! That sounds absolutely gorgeous. Let's break this chord down. So basically, this is kind of an extension of the A major shape. We just shifted up to the fourth fret. But here's what's happening. Everything is on the fourth fret. So my middle or the second finger, my ring finger, and my pinky or the fourth finger, three fingers, the second, third, and the fourth are on the fourth fret of the D, G, and the B string. My middle finger is on the fourth fret of the D. My third finger or the ring finger is on the fourth fret as well, but on the G or the third string. Once again, my pinky or my fourth finger and the little finger is on the fourth fret of the B or the second string. And lastly, we have our index finger left over. So exactly, this chord also utilizes all of our 4 fingers, and this index finger will go on to the 2nd fret of the 1st or the high E string. So it looks something like this. You hold all of these, and it may be again a bit intimidating at the very first, but again, if you practice, you'll just get there very easily, right? And this is a B major chord, and here's how it sounds. Again, on the right hand side, we're playing it from the 5th string this time, right? The A string. Well, absolutely gorgeous. Let's move on to our next chord and let's see what's that. Well, here's our 12th chord. We have reached chord number 12. I can't believe how fast we're going and learning, right? This chord is called as a C9 chord, and it looks and sounds something like this. Woo! Well, let me play that once again. It's really fun. Well, exactly, you got the hint. It kind of looks like the G major chord itself, right? But what's happening here? Let's see. You remember the G major chord at the very first we played? Exactly. Everything remains all the same. These 2 fingers, the last 2, the ring and the pinky, or the 3rd and the 4th finger, remain same. But my middle finger and the index finger just moves down 1 string. So now we have a new shape which also utilizes all of our 4 fingers, and we have basically my 2nd finger is on the 3rd fret of the A or the 5th string, right? After that, we have my index finger or the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the D or the 4th string. Once again, these 2 strings in the middle, the D and the G, like as always on the G major chord, rings out open, nothing there. And once again, these 2 remains the same as well. So basically, my ring finger and my pinky are both on the 3rd frets of the B or the 2nd and the E or the 1st high E string respectively, right? And here's the C9 chord. And yes, on the right hand side, we're going to be playing this from the 5th string or the A string. Sounds really, really gorgeous, right? Here's our chord number 13. Let's see what's our 13th chord is. And this one is called as an A major 7. And here's how beautiful this sounds. Well, doesn't that sound fantastic? Yes, it does. Now, how do we play this chord? Let's break this chord down. So this chord, as I said, is called as an A major 7 chord. It's similar to the A major chord, but it's exactly not. So what's happening? Let's see. My middle or the 2nd finger again is on the 2nd fret of the D or the 4th string. Now, my index or the 1st finger is on the 1st fret of the G string, right? And once again, my ring or the 3rd finger is on the 2nd fret of the B or the 2nd string. Once again, my 2nd finger or the middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the D string or the 4th string. My 1st or the index finger is on the 1st fret of the G string. And lastly, my ring or the 3rd finger is on the 2nd string and 2nd fret of the B string. And all total, we are getting an A major 7 chord. And again, from the right hand side, we're playing from the 5th or the A string right here. Fantastic. So basically, the high E and the A string are ringing out open. Everything else is just we are holding here. And once again, we're not including this 6th string or the low E string right here, right? So once again, this is an A major 7 chord, and here's how gorgeous this one sounds. Well, here's our chord number 14, and you guessed it right, we have 15 chords in this entire class. 15 very easy to play beginner friendly guitar chords. And here is chord number 14, the second last, and this one is called as a D major 7. And here's how heavenly this one sounds, and I really mean it. Let's play that once more. Well, it's a really simple chord. What's happening? Let's see. On the second fret of the G string or the third string, B string or the second string, and the E string, the high E or the first string, we are taking again this part of the index finger, this front part, and we are barring it all over on the second fret. So basically the G, B and the E strings are barred on the second fret. And yes, exactly, I call this chord a one finger chord because it's that easy and it sounds this beautiful. So basically on the right hand side is generally advised to play it from the 4th or the D string, but I like to add the 5th string or the A string sometimes. You can do it according to your own choice of sounds. See, just one finger. So again, one finger barring the second fret all on the 3rd, 2nd and the 1st string, which is therefore the G string, the B string and the high E string. Here's once again how gorgeous this sounds. Well, we arrive at the very last chord here. It's chord number 15. Yay! This chord is a C major 7 chord, and it's really easy. And once again, here's how heavenly this sounds. Let's hear that once more. Well, once again, let's break this chord down. So basically it's a 2-note chord, very simple. We have held the C major at the very start. This is kind of similar to it. What's happening is my ring finger or the 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of the A or the 5th string, right? And lastly, my 2nd or the middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the D or the 4th string. And yes, that's how simple the chord is. Just 2 notes over here. Everything is ringing out open, right? But on the right hand side, we're not going to be including the 6th or the low E string. This is excluded, right? So we're going to be playing this chord from the 5th string instead. Wow, so heavenly. Once again. Well, congratulations, very warm congratulations. You got 15 beginner guitar chords to explore and expand your horizons on to exploring different sounds and melodies and chords all at the same time. Well, thank you so much for watching this entire class. Make sure to download the PDF. Happy practicing, keep rocking, and I'll see you in the next class. Bye-bye.